Shalom. This is part one of Exploring Prayer, which is a summary of a course by the same name that I am teaching in Tel Aviv on Tuesday nights. The first thing that I'd like to do is go through the goals of the course, and there are two goals. The first goal is to be able to basically understand the structure of Jewish prayer, the meanings of the prayers, basically a lot of technical things relating to prayer. The second goal, which might actually be more important, is to try to explore and understand the feelings and the emotions that come with prayer and that are supposed to accompany prayer. The rabbis call this kavanah, which literally means to aim our thoughts, to aim our concentration in a certain direction, in the direction of spirituality, in the direction of God, to really connect with prayer. So these are the goals of this course, and these tapes, these videos will be summaries of the actual class. So if you really want to get the total flavor, you should come to the class in Tel Aviv on Tuesday nights. The first question that I'd like to ask is, what is the purpose of prayer? Why do we pray? What results are we seeking? Now notice that I didn't ask the question, what is prayer? Because I think the answer to that question will evolve organically once we answer and explore the question, what are we getting? What are we trying to get out of prayer? So once again, what is the purpose of prayer? Why do we pray? And I like to offer several answers to that, several suggestions. The first suggestion that we actually discussed in class is the reason for prayer is to ask for stuff, to make requests. That is the classical sort of definition of prayer. When we think of prayer, we think of asking God for our needs. The second solution, the second answer to this is we pray to express emotions. Those emotions could be thankfulness, could be joy, sadness, even anger. The third solution, we pray to access spirituality and to get closer to God. According to Rav Kook, the Jewish soul, the neshama, is having a constant dialogue with God, with the divine. Because as we know, the neshama, the Jewish soul, is holy, is a spark of the divine. So the neshama is continuously conversing with God. When we pray, we're actually taking that spiritual conversation and actualizing it with our words. So our prayer is an expression of that spiritual dialogue. Prayer then is a way of getting closer to God, getting closer to spirituality. It's a conversation with God. The fourth suggestion that was brought up in class is we pray to calm ourselves, to create a peaceful atmosphere within ourselves. In fact, that's what meditation is all about. Meditation is a way of calming ourselves. It's also a way of aiming our minds, as we said, kavanah, to aim our minds in a very certain, a very exact, structured and specific direction. So prayer in that sense is a meditation. I'd like to go back to that solution, that suggestion that we gave, accessing spirituality, trying to get closer to God. And I think there are two ways that can be expressed. One way of expressing prayer is sort of outward. Prayer is trying to affect the world, affect our surroundings, and the other way is inward. Prayer is affecting ourselves. Now, the Hebrew word for prayer is tefillah, and to pray is lehitpalel. That word, if you understand Hebrew grammar, that is a reflexive form, meaning it is something that refers to ourselves. It's working on us. So the Hebrew word to pray, lehitpalel, is something that proves our theory of prayer being inward. We pray, when we pray, we change ourselves. We work on ourselves to put ourselves in a more spiritual frame of mind, which thereby allows us to get closer to God, to spirituality. The second way of prayer is moving outward, is working on our surroundings. There's a famous experiment that was done in Japan by a Japanese photographer who took very high-powered photos, it could have even been through a microscope, of water. These photos revealed the structure of the molecules within the water. And I don't know much about molecular biology or physics, but according to these photographs, water is made up of molecules that could appear to be like crystals. Now, the experiment went as follows. He attached words such as peace and love, good, to bottles of water, and then to other bottles he attached words such as evil and death, bad. Now, when he photographed this water, the water that had the good words attached to it appeared as beautiful crystals and like snowflakes, whereas the water with the bad, evil words was dark. The crystals were all broken. It looked terrible. And he took pictures of water that was, after it was blessed by Zen Buddhist monks in Japan, and that water also radiated beauty. The molecules appeared to be as crystals shining, whereas the water that was not blessed had a darker look to it, and the molecules were all broken. What does this mean? Our words can actually change our surroundings. Our words can affect the world around us. And in fact, to take that one step further, our bodies, according to science, our bodies are 75% water. That means that we can actually change ourselves with our words. When we pray in the morning, we can actually affect our day. We can affect our bodies. We can affect ourselves. When we say a blessing before we eat food, we actually are affecting that food. We are changing that food into a blessing. We are awakening the sparks of holiness within that food. And when we consume that food, we're now internalizing that holiness. That holiness, those divine sparks now become part of us. So in that way, prayer actually can affect the world.